You're listening to Unspooled, the podcast where failed prints are just part of the journey. Hosted by Corey from Moji 3D, the guy who thinks filament is a personality trait, and Steve from Layer by Layer, who probably has more spools of filament than forks. Every week we dive into 3D printing, making, and the occasional rant. So grab your favorite filament and let's get unspooled.
Hey guys.
Hey, everybody.
How's everybody doing? It's actually kind of hard to believe. We are episode 7 of Unspooled, which is kind of nuts. Hey, Strothgar, Tech Jeeper. Oh, who else did I see in here? Sean Doan.
Yeah.
Be Gaming. Hey, guys.
Hey, everybody.
So we are on the tail end of Sideline Review. How you doing? We're on the tail end of Murph, right? And Steve is back from his jaunt to Murph, where he saw quite a few of you guys there.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was super fun. We can get the proverbial elephant out of the room. It's hot. It's always hot at Murph. It's really nothing new. But yeah, and it was a little bit. They tried to remedy that this year to get an E for effort. But it made it like super humid in there. So last year they only had like one giant cooler fan. This year they added 2 more, and like nice. It created like a microclimate in the building, dude. It was like the center, which is where I was. I strategically picked the position close to a fan. Close enough that I could still hear people talking without trying to compete with the sound of the fan. But it was a doozy. I'll still go back. It's still a great time. I still had a ton of fun. But yeah.
Sorry, I gotta post this one. Tech Cheaper has got a good one. So
yeah, me and TJ shared a section for the most part. He was on one side, I was on the other side. Yeah. So he looked out for me a lot. And looked out for everyone else as well a lot. But yeah, so for me it's a double duty trip. My dad lives in Indy, so I took him back home and then stayed the night at his place and then shot up to Murph. Got there exactly at 1 o'clock. I still wasn't sure if I was gonna do a table, so on the way there I stopped at Dollar General and grabbed some tablecloths and some stuff, and got there and saw that plenty of people had already grabbed their tables. The 1 o'clock thing for regular people, exhibitors and hobbyists is maybe. So walked in and actually found first person I saw when I got in there was Midnight Wolf, and he had set up, and I was gonna set up beside him, and then I saw where the fan was, and I was like, I'm gonna set up over here, and I was like, you should move beside me, Midnight Wolf. I was like, I'm not. I was like, this is where I'm gonna be. And then also it was strategic as well because it's in the middle, so people kind of have to come by your table. Yeah. Zombie Pez and K2 Kevin and Tech Jeeper, Karen Chow and her other Spoon Designs was it Spoon? Did I say it right? I'm having a mental block. But he makes some cool maker chips as well. They were all in that same section, so I was like, I'll camp here. That way I know if I need to jump up or something, I got somebody to watch my back or watch my stuff. So
if it's that hot, if I ever go, cool. I will be strategically finding the cool places because most people know I live in Maine, not a hot place, right? We get warm in the summer, but 95 is real hot. Today it hit 106, and it's just awful.
Yeah, Spool was there and Gerard. Yeah, thanks, Tech Jeeper.
Gerard, I saw him. Yeah, Karen Chow, she made a post about her being between or in the middle of Gerari and then someone else. I can't remember.
Tech Jeeper. It was in Tech Jeeper.
Oh,
but yeah. So yeah, it was a cool little area. I kind of just like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a table. I remember that they had tables left last year. So I was like, screw it, why not? And I grabbed a bunch of stuff, grabbed like some prints and stuff that I wanted to give away, a bunch of like my Bubsies that I usually make as test prints. Excuse me. And just a bunch of 3-finger rings, some chains, hue forges, kind of like a little bit of everything. My table was literally just like thrown together.
A hodgepodge of prints.
Hodgepodge of like of prints. I'm pretty sure people are like, what is going on here?
I think that's what a lot of people's tables are, though, especially the people that are, mostly designers and printers, they tend to be, all the stuff that they print, and then the designers that other people's stuff that they print, so.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, I'm I don't know if it's like if I'm bougie or not, but I just don't really print a lot of other people's stuff because I probably spend so much time making my own stuff. Yeah, very seldom do I print like unless it's like something functional or whatever. But yeah, so I had the other cool thing that I did. Well, so I probably, because I bounced off of you like 10 times as well as other people, was like, do I take a printer? If I take a printer, what printer do I take? I was like, I might want to take 2 printers. I might want to just take one. So I just made the judgment call after I got like my maker coins mostly done and kind of planned out any printing that I would have to do while like on the road for the most part. I took the Centauri and put that on the table.
Good call. Yeah. Everybody in the chat, in the comments, probably knows that's the one I would have recommended, because I mean the A1 they print great, right? But they're old news at this point, right? Like everybody has one.
The reason why I wanted to take the A1 was because I wanted to be able to print extra maker chips if I needed to. Yeah. And so that was my main reason for wanting to take it. But that being said, set up my table. We had maybe about 10 or 20 people come by on day one. And then after that, it's like it's a Murph tradition to have dinner at Chili's. So literally like pretty much everybody that was there, it seemed like, went to Chili's. I hadn't even checked into my room. Yeah, I hadn't even checked into my room yet. So I went to the hotel to check in the room, and it just wiped down because I was just like, I was my shirt was wet. I was like, I gotta like at least wipe down before I go out to dinner.
Yeah, so had to dry off.
Yeah, it had to dry off, dude. So
Karen Chow Designs here. Just wanted to get
hey Karen. I made it up to Chili's, and it's up like literally. If no one else was there, we still could have packed that Chili's out. Seriously.
I mean, the pictures I saw, it was like the table went the whole length of like the windows,
and then turned the corner and went the whole length. Dude, it had to be like anywhere from like 50 to 70 people there. You know, and it's like literally like Murph is like a family reunion / like traveling circus kind of deal almost. Like the festivals are starting to feel like a traveling circus because it's the same people, and it's just like, all right, guys, and where to go to for what and who has what, and you can direct people to different things or whatever. So Chili's, everybody's hanging out, having fun, eating. I bought some of my dad's hot sauce. People really liked it. It was, to me, that was the first time I dealt with his hot sauce for like 20 years and never tasted it. I smelled it like once and I was like, I'm good. I don't.
So it's hot.
It's hot. In my opinion, it's hot.
I like hot, so I like hot.
I'm gonna bring it. I'll bring some to 3D Printopia, and you can determine for yourself. Some people said it wasn't hot. Yeah, of course. Frankenbee was there. Frankenbee did this giant Voltron lion. It was freaking insane. But
I heard about that.
He said it wasn't hot. He said it was good, but it wasn't hot. Frankenbee convinced me to taste it. I tasted it. I was like, it was good, but it literally was like, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. And then like 7 seconds later, you're like, you're regretting everything.
Well, if it's so hot there, it actually might cool you down.
Dude, yeah,
it's so hot in your mouth that your body's like,
they could have put it on the transformer that blew and probably healed it up or something. Could have welded it or whatever. Dude, but yeah, so have fun. The next day, I go back to the hotel. That night, go back to the hotel or whatever, and I pick up the homie Strofgar. Strofgar is a mod in our Discord. Is the mod of our Discord. He's a trucker, and he found a place about 20 minutes away from me, about 10 to 15 minutes away from the venue, So I shot out there to pick Strafgar up. You know, and it's his first festival as well. So I'm like, if you can be in the area, I was like, dude, we got to get you there. And I was like, I will pick you up. Like, you know, I want you to go. So he comes, he's got his dog Hudson. You know, we get back and he just, you know, he's camping at my table for the most part, and helping me out when I needed to run to the bathroom or something like that. And just all in all, like just hanging out. We had a good time. I babysitted Hudson a couple times. Hudson's a sweetheart. Then, you know, so, like throughout the day, people are coming by. The big thing for my table, all right, I'm trying to be modest. So I did something cool this year. I usually try to do something cool with the maker chips, just because initially this time last year, I was not on board with maker chips. Like, go ahead, Kevin and Pez, if you want to say anything. I wasn't on board with maker chips. I made my own maker coin or whatever you want to call it, because I wanted to do something different. And then I kind of got on board with the maker chip thing after that. But I like to do stuff different. So I did maker coins, maker chips for 3D Printopia. I did a couple versions of it. I did one that you could open up and it's a phone stand. You can see it on Twitter if you want to see it. I also did one that was a HueForge. I did the first HueForge maker chip, which was pretty cool. And so I always do like one that's in bulk, and then I do one that's like limited edition in a sense. So this year I did an Oreo cookie, which was the limited edition one. It came out okay. I know some things that I want to change on it. But it was well received. People, you know, dug. It looked like an Oreo. I did give them all away. That was not a part of the plan. I wanted to keep at least one.
Yeah, you can print more.
I can print more. Yeah. I did some Oreo thins, maker coins, maker chips. That's also on Twitter. And then I also had a I was calling them makeable chips, but Daddy Wazzy came up with a better name called Make Your Chips.
You saw that, yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. I was like, I like that name. Basically, so I can kind of demo it. I actually got some in my pocket. Hold on. I can demo it. I basically made it where people could make my maker chip for themselves, but they could customize it with rings. So here's a couple of them here, just different ones. If you can see it, my hands are extremely ashy because hot. But yeah, so, and basically you could take this ring off, if I can get it live on TV, but you can take these outer rings off. Yeah, I know, no pressure, right? Let me grab one that's better. You can take off the rings. They're not meant to be taken off after the fact, but they can still come off. It's 3 pieces. You get 3 pieces. You get a core, is what I was calling them, with like my logo and a QR code on it. And then you get 2 rings. They look the same, but they're actually different. And basically, you put your core in, right? Put the core in, and then you put your outer ring on.
You can interchange colors.
Yeah, and then they snap together. So I'm gonna do it right here. And so I did, after doing a couple of these on the first day, Friday, I was like, I need a mallet. So I went and bought a mallet, and there you go. So you got to make it. And I'm going to design it so that people can print them on a single color printer. That way anybody can make a maker chip. Basically the center part will be probably a HueForge of some sort.
Or just have like a single layer on top of a darker color or something.
A single layer on top of a darker color, or it'll be made for like RFID chips or something like that. Or maybe I'll do both. So that was huge. Kids were stopping by, and basically I went and bought a mallet so that I can hammer them. It makes it 10 times easier, 10 times faster. Like people loved it. It was cool. Like most of the time I design for other designers. I like when people like it. I like when designers like it, and I got like some great responses from other designers, which was freaking sweet, you know. And like to me, that's where I get like the most of my joy from, because then they understand the limitations. Like, you know, you understand the limitations of, you know, trying to make these types of things on the 3D printer. You know, it's not always easy. I got lucky because I started it on Monday and was able to get 200. Was able to get 200 printed within like 3 days, if not less.
Yeah, because I mean, anytime you're designing something that needs to needs to snap together. If you're a designer, you realize that it's a difficult thing to design, because you not only have to design it to work for your printers. If you're a frequent printer, you probably have more accurate printers than the average individual. So you need to model in some tolerances that are a little bit greater than maybe you would normally do. That way, if anybody's printing your thing, the parts are going to fit. So it's a tough thing to do, and to do well.
And one of the things I used the K for the rings. I used the K1 and the Centauri Carbon.
Yeah.
So I'm using 2 separate printers, so you can easily have your tolerances just kind of go to crap,
and that's the key. Like if I'm designing something that has multiple parts that needs to fit together, like I won't usually print all the parts in the same printer, because that's kind of neat. I'll put, if it's 5 parts, I'll put all 5 parts on 5 different printers, because then if it fits together, then you've got it pretty well situated. Dude. So it's a good idea.
So it was cool. Like, people loved it. Kids were coming back. I'm like, hey, look, you can't keep coming back and making more chips, like, because I don't have enough for everyone.
Well, you need a sign. You should have 3D printed a sign that was.
I was trying to be nice
per user.
Excuse me. I was trying to be nice, but I had some kids that were like, dude, please, I appreciate you liking it, but please don't come back.
I'd have been like, Strothgar, chase the kids away.
Yeah, dude. Because I'm like, number one,
and you had a cute dog there too. So that brings the kids.
Number one, you make them so that with the hopes that people will follow you, but little kids aren't gonna follow you. So now they're just taking chips. So if I do it again, I may just do one where they can. I'll have a station where they can make their own chip, and I'll just print some logos, random logos or whatever, and they can have their own little custom chip or something like that. But so that was probably one of the bigger things for my table. I talked about a lot of stuff. Talked about the chains that I had. Talked about hue forges and explained hue forges to a lot of people and how they work and how you make them. I also had a microscope on the table so people can see what a print looks like, up close, and it was freaking them out.
If you really want to see, if you really want to make any good printer or any good print look bad, look at it under a microscope.
Yeah, it's insane. Dude, I love looking at prints under a microscope and filament as well. I was gonna do filament, but that microscope isn't really that good for filament. You want to kind of have it backlit, and that one doesn't.
Well, Tech Cheaper just had a recent comment that is interesting.
Yeah. I want you to highlight it real quick.
Yeah, so we need wrong one. So you gotta give us a backstory about this.
Okay, so literally, I don't know which was a bigger hit. If the maker chips make your chips were a big hit, or the poop. So basically, I have a t-shirt
pancakes.
Press. Yeah, the poop pancake, sure. Yeah, and I have a heat press, and so a lot of people were like, "Whoa!" I had these plates on my table that were basically filament waste. Wow, why did I do that?
Because you did the L's. You did the L's, man.
Go back.
Yeah.
Go back. So basically, it was filament waste. What else was it? Supports, and failed prints that I basically put on a t-shirt press, and I melted them down into plates. And it was a process that over the course of a day that I figured out, and I showed the progression from the very first one that I did to the very last one that I did. And and people were like, whoa. And then some people were like, I got a heat press at home. Why didn't I ever think of that? And so number one, it showed me that even though we feel like it's a very small and niche community, there's still a lot of content out there to be made that people aren't aware of, because Filament Stories did a video on using the heat press to melt your filament as well. I don't know if she went as deep into it as I did, but basically,
because you could use those plates for other artistic things. You could route them out shapes. You could press them into shapes.
Then technically, and I'm not sure about this because this could be bullcrap, I think because of the way that you're melting them, you're kind of annealing them in a sense, because it's all being fused together. and then you allow it to kind of like cool down as well. So you don't. It's not like a regular print where you can break it because of the lines or because of the seams or because of the different parts of it. So you like get these pretty hard plates made out of like
what do they call it? Homogeneous, right? Like you kind of
melt everything. I used the word homogeneous so much this weekend. I said homogeneous
piece
so much this weekend, dude. Literally, I probably said homogeneous so much this weekend. I probably said it more this weekend than all of my life before this.
So Polymorph says a Pupnini press.
Yeah, a Pupnini
that's a good
press,
one. Yeah, a Pupnini press. Because like I've seen there's a pretty common Instagram video that goes around. I don't know who did it, but they have the skull silicone mold that they melt the poop into.
Yeah,
and it makes these skulls. And it's the same thing as what you're doing, just in a different shape.
Yeah, and so my initial reason for getting into this was I just wanted to get. I was tired of it taking up so much space. So I just wanted it to be some daggone fly. I just wanted it to be smaller. Yeah. So in doing that, basically it was like I was gonna make like ingots that I could just reuse later, and I could just throw them in a box, and then if I need them, take one out, melt it, use it for whatever. But I started making the plates, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But it seemed to be cooler than what I thought it was because so many people were asking about the plates.
And if you could press those thin enough, you could probably use them in a vacuum former.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah. I got some new ideas for stuff that I may want to do with it. I may need to find like a vintage pasta roller. That way I can gauge the thickness and like make sure that like there's consistent thickness across them. But I got some ideas and stuff I want to do. I also might need to get a CNC machine because I want to make my own dies for certain things. And I think if I get a CNC machines,
they are coming out with the Milo V2 soon.
Yeah,
if I can version 2, and
if I can make my own dies, that'd be cool. And then Zombie gave me an idea of like, hey, maybe try making a record. So I have been hunting for a master record or a record die or whatever they call them. Yeah, I found like a record company out near my job, so I may like swing by there and like, hey, you got any like old record masters that you don't want? I like, just give me one. I'll pay for it. I was like, I want to try something, and I may try it myself first, and then if not, take like the press out there and see if
because all it is heat a press in a mold.
Yeah, and like you can see some detail on the surface of it. I don't know if you can get down to the level of a record type detail, but
because you'd have to make sure there weren't any like air pockets or inclusions in the homogeneous.
Like even if it could play a little bit, I'm good. Like even if it plays like a section, I'm like, okay, that's cool enough for me. So
and you could probably do it by, instead of melting the poop directly, you could probably make it less or more even if you ground those down to like a finer dust, not a dust, but
it's like legit flat. The only issue is that I'm using the Teflon sheets, and you can see the pattern of the Teflon sheet and the surface of it. So I would just have to make sure to use like something like wax paper or something in between it to kind of like
parchment or something.
Yeah, parchment paper to give it that smooth finish. But it would be cool, man. Like I may do some stuff with it for 3D Printopia.
You would be cool if you could actually do that to make a record.
Yeah,
you could do something with now it's slipping my mind.
That's because you're old.
The speaker guy, Waldo.
Who?
Deposition sound?
Yeah.
You could like have a record player hooked up to their speakers, and it would be like, there's got to be someone out there that makes like a 3D printed record player. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh man, that would be crazy.
Yeah. 3D printed record player, 3D printed records, and 3D printed speaker. That would be pretty cool.
But so I mean, that was pretty much the gist of my table. I did fire up the Centauri for a bunch of people. I did a couple prints on it.
Was it the only Centauri there? Did anybody else?
I think it was 2 other Centauris there.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to really make my way around mostly because of the maker chip stuff, and like I didn't want people to come and just take parts of them without taking the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
I think they're becoming kind of like maker chip festivals.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, for real. But yeah, so I'm trying to think what are the companies that were there. Filament company wise, Atomic was there. I grabbed a roll from Atomic. They had Candy Apple. That looks pretty cool. 3D Fuel was there. Prusa was there. So I'll go with the ones that were selling. Atomic was selling. 3D Fuel was selling. Central 3D, aka Mandala Rose, was selling.
Green Gate, right? Green
Gate was there. They were selling. And New Makers was there. They were selling. I think that might have been it.
But EPAX, Frank and me.
Yeah, EPAX.
EPAX,
EPAX
I saw them on Shenanigans stream.
I said that like how I forget EPAX. I bought 3 rolls from them.
I love the EPAX stuff.
They got some cool stuff.
They got some nice silks.
I don't do silks too much, but they have some cool, like I'll say like twinkling or emerald or cool like transitioning filaments or whatever.
Tech cheaper. He liked them.
You bought 6 rolls, dude. That's crazy. So Tech Jeeper. We'll start there. So from nowhere, actually, we'll start. Jirari had its cool. His drawer system there, that was cool. Karen also, she does some drawer systems based on Jirari's setup. So she had her stuff there. She was also making bracelets. I got my Karen Chow Murph bracelet on right here.
Yeah.
This other one is by Ari, Nicor's daughter. She I didn't get a bracelet last year, so she.
Oh yeah, we heard about that.
Yeah, I got one this year. I have not taken my bracelets off since. But yeah, Karen's cute. Karen's station was freaking sweet. She and Spool station. Spool made a maker chip that squeaks, aka because they do the TPU squeakers and stuff.
Yeah,
it squeaks. It was freaking amazing, dude. I was blowing that thing because my dog loves squeak toys. I was blowing that thing all day yesterday. My son was like, "Can I have it?" I was like, "No, you cannot."
Did anybody do the whistle? Because we had talked about the whistle.
Spool did a whistle before.
Yeah,
I was trying to do a whistle, and he did a whistle last year. I don't think he can make. He couldn't. Was it? No, he did a whistle for 3D Printopia.
Yeah.
And
it's not easy getting a whistle mechanism in 3.5 millimeters.
It get real. You learn a lot about yourself and a lot about whistles trying to make a whistle.
All the research you have to do about how to make a whistle.
Dude, I watched so many videos on whistles. Dude, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
So Tech Jeeper had a cool marble race on his in his station, as well as his print inventory system up as well, and just several other prints. Then you had the K2 Kevin, Liz, and Zombie with all of their cool stuff. There was a Voron that I needed to see that I didn't get a chance to see. James the Printer showed up. The ever elusive James the Printer. He showed up.
And apparently went home with 3 rolls of Atomic.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah, dude. I'm trying to think
of nice stuff too.
I didn't get to see. I heard it was a cool like Micron there, Voron with like 3 heads or something on it. I wanted to see that. I didn't get a chance to see it. Traxman had his tool changer in the LDO booth. That thing looks amazing.
It didn't LDO. Didn't they have their Christmas tool changer, that 6-headed tool changer? Was that there?
That might have been Traxman's tool changer. You talking about the red one?
The red and green, yeah.
Oh no, his is red and blue. So I don't
maybe it's blue. I don't know.
Okay,
I can't tell the difference between.
He had his tool there. Trying to think. Tripod Garage was there. Sam Prentice was there. Like a lot of the usual characters were there. Jim from Edutech, Scott from Edu 3D. They were all there. The Polymaker crew was there. Pete, Joel, Sean were there. Greg from Overture was there. He had a dummy 13 with his actual face on it. It was slightly scary, to say the least.
That sounds scary.
Yo,
in
color. It was a full color Greg from Overture dummy 13 head on a probably like a 300% scale dummy 13.
There were a couple big dummy 13s because didn't Polymaker have theirs there too?
Yeah, they had theirs there as well.
Yeah. Polymaker.
Yeah, Lee Murray was there. Lee Murray and Keeler were there. 3D and T. Some people from West 3D. They had a table with like some of the biggest Nerf guns you've ever seen. Those things were freaking sweet. I'm trying to think of who. I mean, I'm gonna miss some people. As a Big Jano had a table as well. Zany Zach Makes had his huge builds.
Big
there.
Sortie,
Yeah, the insane stuff. Trying to think. Mentally going through the room. Silver Bear was there. Wait. Yeah, Silver. Wait, that's it, right? Hold on. Silver Sunbeam. Wow. Silver Bear is a person, and then we got Silver Bag.
Yeah,
and then Silver Sunbeam. He's got
Silver Bear Creations. I think they're in chat.
Silver Sunbeam was there. He has these cameras that he's 3D printed that I really want to do. KB3D was there as well.
Yeah.
Digital Dragon built a box turtle like there at the show and then gave it away on Sunday. We'll get to Sunday. Sunday was an interesting day. They had the Death Racers. They also had like mini Robot Wars or whatever you want. What's it called? Is it Robot Wars? Little mobile robots fighting. It is Robot Wars, right? They had that going on in the annex building.
They had like the ant weight battle bots.
Yeah, Caleb from Hot Mix was there. Yeah, he was there as well. It was all in all, it was just a cool day. I think everybody had fun. I was bushed. That was my first time doing one of those. I was tired, like I was blanking out. But also there were tons of people that like you only see online, like that aren't like doing shows, but they came out to support and meet some of the people that they follow online. I met a ton of people who were like, "Hey, dude, I follow you on Twitter," or "I watch Unspooled." Like we got a lot of Unspooled love. It was insane.
Cool.
Yeah, like Martin 3D, he was there. He's a big TikToker. Twin Shepherd Printing Jack was there.
Yeah, I saw what is it, Andrew Rogers there. His he brought his trike there because I'm guessing Sam and all of them had their
that's Silver Sunbeam.
So
he had his bike there.
His melted on the way home.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he posted it on X. Him and his wife on the way home. I guess they stopped somewhere to do something.
That was his daughter. But she was zooming around. Dude, she was zooming around. They Murph the whole weekend on that.
Yeah, so I guess they either stopped to visit someone or they stopped to go look at something and they left it in the car and it melted.
He wasn't going straight right back home, so he had a couple stops.
The whole the handlebar was all tilted over, and then like the rear axle just melted. Yeah.
Damn. STL Denise and her husband were there.
Yeah.
It was tons of people. Tripod, his wife, his daughter had a booth. It was literally like, like a family reunion, to the point. And it was cool. Like this was probably my technically second time at Murph. Probably my fifth time at any rap festival. And I had a blast. Just being in the community and being active. You people start to recognize you. That was cool. And like all in all, I had fun, man.
Yeah, like anybody in chat who hasn't been to, whether it's Rocky Mountain or Murph or Earth 3D Printopia, or if you're overseas and go to Smurf, any of them are a blast. They're all fun.
And like I said, this one is a lot less formal.
Yeah,
not to a fault, but it's for lack of a better term, a chill type of thing. All right, now to the elephant in the room. Like I said, they had the chillers. For some reason, the middle of the room was dry. The edges were like a freaking swimming pool on both sides. Like literally,
I heard the wet floor.
Yeah, dude. I nicknamed it the daggone hands.
You got to turn the gestures.
I turned it off. Oh my gosh, it's so.
I disabled mine because we saw that stream.
Yeah. So literally, I nicknamed it the ocean and Goshen. Yeah. It was just water everywhere. The downside of this is we all went out. Everybody kind of like split up, but people went different places to eat Saturday night, and then we come back in on Sunday morning, and I was like, I was ready. I was like, I'm coming. I'll get in there with enough time to like go around and record some booze, record some people, get some photos, and da 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 da. I get there and the power's out. Like it's they got the side doors open, but like the power is dead. Unless you get your own power, you weren't doing anything. I heard
Frankenbee powered up makers.
It was like a Ford or something commercial in there. Yeah. He like plugged in the booth to his truck, and they were able to kind of keep playing games and stuff like that. But over the course of the night, like anything that could absorb water absorbed water. Like literally,
oh yeah,
like your boxes that your filament was in absorbed water. Your cardboard spools absorbed water. I had a pillow that I let that I put down for Strofgar's dog. It was wet. Like any and everything that could, like it just everything. Like the floors were kind of dry on the side, but not like bone dry.
Up by everything else.
Yeah, who knows what time the power went out? I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, dude, like, yeah, it was nasty. It was nasty. And I'd still go back. Like,
hopefully none of the filament manufacturers got any like ruined boxes or anything.
They probably didn't, but any filament that was out probably needed to be. I didn't dry. I printed with some Overture stuff yesterday. Yeah. I didn't dry it out, but
so basically, what you're saying is that if you live in Indiana, you're probably using filament dryers.
Quite possibly. Dude, it was weird.
Yeah,
I didn't even know cardboard could absorb water just like over the air like that, but it sucked it all up.
Yeah, and so it's going to be that wet in the air. Anything that's going to soak it up is going to.
Yeah. See, you look at Karen. She's like, her paper grocery bag felt like cloth. It was weird, dude. Like it didn't take any time. And I heard STL Denise said that like some screws or something rusted overnight just from the
so the post she made was a bolt fell out of Sam Prentice's trike, his little bike, his bike, and it I guess it rusted within like a matter of like
overnight then, I guess
not even like minutes. I guess there was like surface rust on it.
It was crazy. It was fun. Like I said, it's when you know that going in, it makes it, you're like, I signed up for this. It's cool. My wife had bought me like a little air conditioning like neck thing or whatever, the little, and for Father's Day, and like she gave it to me, and I was like, what is this? I was like, I don't want this thing. Like this is a terrible gift. And then like when I got there, I was like, you know what? This is the greatest gift ever. Like it was like I take it back.
Like anytime I go to Florida, I got one of those like neck fans, the little neck thing with the two fans that blow up in your face. Because if not, I die.
Dude, that thing saved my life, man, 100%. So, yeah. That being said, it was a great time. I would definitely go back. Like people had some amazing booths. Saturday night ends with like some drinking, some Nerf gun battles, shooting at drones, and
nice.
Tripod made this pulled pork that was freaking amazing. Saved my life.
He was posting that on X that he was making bringing that with him.
It was so good. Like I hadn't eaten all day as well. He's like on a scale of 1 to 10. How good is it? I was like, I don't know if it is a 10, but it's a 10 right now. I was like, because I am starved. I was like, it is good. I was like, and it's a 10 right now. Yeah, probably Morph was there as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So no, it's all the. I was sad, obviously I couldn't make it, but I was sad. I heard it was good, even with the power. Yeah. Even with the power going out, everybody said it was a good time.
So, and James Brown, there was a lot of Jello. There was not a lot of Jello. You are in fact not telling the truth. Oh yeah, and jambalaya. There were Jello shots that contained less Jello than shots by a lot. They were. I'm guessing
that was what was it, Kayla?
Keela, yeah. Jello shots.
Yeah.
That were like, they were real. Like they were real, bro.
They were just shots.
Yeah.
They were
but Yeah, everyone had fun. Everybody was there the next morning. Nobody got in trouble, you know.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, like I said, even knowing all of that, I'll be back next year, 100%.
James Ferner says alcohol levels varied by the maker.
Yeah. Just because I think now a lot of us are kind of like, it's cool when adults like your stuff, but it's cool seeing kids like it as well. For me, it's also the cultural part of it, being, you know, African American and 3D printing. There's not a lot of Black people in 3D printing. So it's also cool when other people see you and they, you know, and they're like, oh, cool. Like, you know, and they kind of give you the look like, oh, okay. You know, and then I had something cool on my table. So they're like, oh, like, you're not just like hanging out, you like really participating in the community. And
I mean, one of my big things in 3D printing is like the education side of like educating, not just kids, but adults, but especially the kids, right? Like, because the kids are the future us, right?
Yeah.
Like when we're old and gray, they're hopefully the ones that are going to keep these festivals, these rep fests going, you know. So if they don't,
I had an older couple, like when I was leaving, I don't know if this was day 1 or day 2, but like kind of like pulled up on me in the parking lot and was like, hey, like on some like, hey, we see what you're doing, we proud of you. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, y'all about to make me cry out here, man. It was like my face is already wet from sweat now. It was day 2. It was day 2. It was when I was leaving to come back home.
You could probably cry and everybody would just thought you were sweating.
Yeah, dude.
Like, oh, he's just sweating.
It genuinely touched my heart, man. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. You know,
it's good. I mean, it's I mean, I think it's what keeps a lot of us in it, is that it's a great community, right? Like
literally, that is the thing, man.
Yeah.
And
there's always the things that we debate about or argue or get worked up about, but I think in the end, for the most part, everybody in the 3D printing community, you know, the ones that are understanding that it's okay to have some differences. You know, it's a good group. It's the reason why I've stuck with it as long as I have. You know,
it's hard to believe. Like I haven't really belonged to any other, like, I'll say like hobby communities or whatever. I did photography, but usually you kind of like find a person or a group or a couple people and you just kind of stick with them. But like with the 3D printing stuff, it's such a varied community that, like, you know, like you might be friends with one person, but y'all have different printers. So you also are friends with people with the same printer that you have, or you're also friends with people who live in your area, as well as people that you're already friends with as well. So, you know,
and I think the 3D printing community, at least the ones that the different groups within the 3D printing community that I've had the pleasure of meeting in person and obviously communicating online with a lot. It tends to be a more inviting group initially, right? So a lot of groups, like, you know, I remember years ago, my son and I were getting into RC cars, you know, and drones.
Mm-hmm.
And the groups, at least in our area, were a little bit tough to kind of like
get into,
break through. You know, like you could go to the events, but they were hesitant to kind of bring you into the fold type of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think, at least in my experience, I don't think you've ever really, I have never seen that. And I hope that anybody that I have that has been getting into the community and looked at me as far as like, hey, invite me in, you know, I always hope that I've been inviting, because, you know, I think the vast majority of us are. At least that's my hope, you know. So
like I said before, dude, I like my outward perception, because it is heavily dominated by, you know, like white guys in general. Yeah, like I was nervous as hell, like jumping into the pool per se. But it's been nothing but, you know, at least as far as I know, it's been nothing but, like, you know, great people, you know, being nice. And I won't even say being nice, being themselves, you know. And meeting new people. And
I mean, you were the first person I connected with at 3D Printopia.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy.
I don't know why. Like, it just we're in the same area, and I was like, oh, that dude looks cool, and we started talking, and I was like, oh, that guy's great, you know. And then, but and it's just, I just think that's how it is, you know. You kind of like you gravitate towards someone, and then you meet someone else, and then they meet, you know, and I think especially when you have a group of people, when you start to meet one person, you and that other person help each other meet other people, right? Like, dude, you've helped me meet people, man. And I hope I've helped you meet people, and that type of thing. So here's
the crazy part about it, right? There's so many people in this community in general, like the polymaker people. I hang with those guys a lot. I hang with some of the new maker people a lot as well, as well as just, you know, people that you see online all the time. And it was like when I walked in, like some people, like we you know, we might have shook hands or whatever, but it wasn't like I haven't seen you in forever. It was like I just talked to you like 2 days ago. Yeah. Hey, you know, and it's literally like it's a family, man.
Well,
like,
the honestly, last 4 weeks we've been talking to Yudo, who lives in friggin' Japan.
He lives in Japan.
And if I saw someone who lives in Vancouver that I talk with a lot, if I saw them tomorrow, I wouldn't feel like I hadn't seen them in ever, you know? Like,
yeah, dude, legit, like 100%.
I'd be like, hey, you know, we chatted in a Discord chat for 4 hours last night, you know?
Right. Yeah, like, hey, good. I'm glad you made it. Like, okay, let's pick up where we left off. You know, and that's like with Tech Jeeper is the same. Like, it was like, hey, Tech Jeeper, what's going on? And, you know, like we shook hands, and it was like, all right, cool. You know, you're just happy to see them, but it's not like you're like, well, tell me everything that's going on, because you already know, because we all talk. You know, it is legit a community, you know, that's spread, you know, for the most part around the world. You know, so
I mean, I talk with people from Germany and
dude,
the Netherlands and England and Japan, and holy moly, like it's not just a, like you said, it's not just a community that brings you into groups of people locally, but like all over the world. It's crazy. And you know, I don't think there's that. I don't really think that there's a lot of communities, hobby communities, that are really like that.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
You know, I think 3D printing is a little bit unique when it comes to that.
For real. But yeah, that being said, like it was a great weekend. If you have not been to a Rep Festival, try to make it to one. It is cool. You'll see people that you talk to online all the time. Yes, we gotta make some eye contact at 3D Printopia if you come up this year. But yeah, like it is about community. And that is one of the biggest things for us here at Unspooled, is like we want to, like, we're not trying to be like Mother Teresa or anything like that. We just want to create some cohesion and just some cross blending of communities, because there's so many 3D communities. You got, you know, Twitch and Discord people, you got Twitter people, you got YouTube people, you got TikTok people, you know, that you got people that are all in like these subsets, and they really in some situations don't really cross, because if they're trying to play the algorithm game on whatever network they're on, they're kind of like locked to those places.
And I think some people who aren't using it as a platform, right? They're just people, and they're into 3D printing, not content creating, not designing. They're just into 3D printing. I think a lot of times they pick the platform that they're comfortable on. So one of the biggest ones is Facebook, right? There's a lot, because of the groups. There's so many people that are on the Facebook, but I'll run into a lot of people in the Facebook groups that I don't see on X or Instagram, or you know. So I think that was one of the things that we had to talked about or discussed when we started this, was that trying to bring more of those people into the Discord world, the X world, the Twitch, YouTube, just trying to connect as many people as we can. And I think that in general is kind of what a podcast does, no matter what the podcast is about. It's about community, and it's about connecting as many people as possible who have a shared interest.
The number of people that were like either new or like felt like they were on an island, and like, you know, as far as that I talked to over the weekend, that were like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing, but I'm stuck. I was like, dude, you're not stuck. Like, there's Discords. I was like, you know, there's tons of Discords out there. hop
So
in.
is one of those things that you're not stuck. Is Pete in here? Reprinted 3D. Pete, are you in here? If you are, send a chat. But Pete started designing.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So if Pete, if anybody knows Pete, and if anybody talks to Pete
there
a lot,
he is.
Pete is always like, I don't design, or I can't design, or I don't know. Pete started his DJ rig design in Tinkercad.
Nice.
And is doing it, and he's going to learn it, and it's going to be awesome. And
that's cool.
There's so many people out here that can help him if he gets stuck.
Legit.
That's the stuff that's really cool, is that not just bringing someone in new, but having someone that's been in the community for a long time that does that is a big part of the community, like Pete, that is now venturing into something else, right? Design. That's really cool, and like seeing people that were into 3D printing that are building Milo and now into CNC, or like Tech Cheaper with the lasers, and everybody else with the lasers. And it's once you get into G code and machines that are controlled by that, you don't have to just be pigeonholed into 3D printing.
Yep.
You can do all different types of machines and making with them, and that's cool. So shout out to Pete. I was very happy to see Pete take that on, because it's I don't think it's his first design. I think he has used Tinkercad before, but it's definitely an involved design, and I'm excited to see what he does with it. So
100%. I say 100% so much. I get so tired of saying
100.
Say it so much.
Yeah. So, we all have our sayings. So when I go into like every stream, I used to always say howdy. And then I was like,
I say howdy too. That's hilarious.
I'm from like Texas, Wyoming, or Texas, or some cowboy on a ranch, and I've never ridden a horse in my life. So I'm like,
imagine how disappointed they are when they see that I'm the person saying howdy.
Yeah, I'm like, why do I say howdy all the time? So now I'm switching up. Now I just say hey. Now I've turned into like what was the cartoon character when we were kids that always said hey. Can't remember now.
Fat Albert.
Yeah. Now I'm him, because I'm saying hey.
100% homogenous.
100% homogenous. Yeah, that's good.
But
so the other thing,
let's get on to the other.
Yeah. Go ahead. MRRF is great. You guys are all awesome. Anybody who went to MRRF, I'm glad you guys had a great time. The other thing we wanted to talk about in this stream, there were kind of two other things. One thing was the Cheaty box, because they kind of have been. It was supposed to be like a Q1 2025 that the Cheaty box for multicolor was supposed to come out for the +4. And that didn't happen, obviously, because we're after Q1. And I think now they're saying Q3, and now they're making posts about it, and they're going to be giving, I think, a couple of them away. They've been posting on Facebook, X, Instagram, basically everywhere. And so if you haven't seen that, check out Cheaty's socials, because if you post, like, and comment, you stand a chance to win one. But it's kind of one of those multicolor systems that we really don't know a lot about. There haven't been a massive amount of leaks about it. It's a boxy looking thing.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't seen it,
not that there's anything wrong with the boxy looking thing, you know what I'm saying?
So let's here. Wait, let me share.
If you like boxy, you like boxy. It is what it is.
Boxy. All right, let me share this. So in case anybody hasn't seen it, I mean, it's a boxy looking thing, right?
I mean, it kind of matches the printer, so
it does. Yeah, it matches what the +4 looks like. I have heard that it does not. It's not a filament dryer.
Okay.
So it's not like the Ace Pro or the new AMS Pro 2. So it's not a filament dryer. And I've heard that I heard both that it's not backwards compatible with the X series. So like my favorite Cheaty printer is the X Max 3, that it's not going to be compatible with that. But then I've also heard chatterings in some of the like official Cheaty Facebook groups that it might be. I'm assuming there's a series of beta testers out there that already have this thing, maybe. But they've done a pretty good job of keeping it under wraps. But
I'm going to say this: the 3D printing community, we need to get more hackers involved. All right, we'll have enough hackers in our community.
Yeah, but nothing in the 3D printing community ever stays secret.
We need more hackers, bro. We need people that's going to take these machines apart and get them working the way that everybody wants them to work. We need them.
Yeah.
We need some. We got nerds, but we need to
hardware hackers.
Yeah, we need some hardware hackers.
Well, we get some people that do some pretty awesome stuff, but
they're busy working on other stuff.
there is a hack. There is a hack for the Ace Pro, so you can get the Ace Pro working on any Clipper machine.
Oh, nice.
There's a GitHub out there. I can't remember the name of it. If I find it, I'll post it somewhere. But yeah, it's a pretty simple hack, upgrade, mod, and then you can use the Ace Pro with any Clipper machine. So, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so this is the one that I'm kind of excited about. I hope that it's backward compatible with the XMAX 3. If it's not, I might have to end up buying a Plus 4. I don't really want to because it's not the size that I want. I wish that it was bigger, but the printer itself. But it seems kind of neat. And then, Pete said like the Big Tree Tech's VVD is also coming. That's another AMS multicolor thing. So this should be fun. Should be cool. So if anybody like finds out some inside information on this, or you see any linked information, make sure you post it and then tag Unspooled, so that everybody can see it, and we can kind of talk about it more. I've been scouring the bowels of the 3D printing internet, and there isn't a whole lot about it. I haven't been able to find any leaked information.
I was trying to find the stuff on the Elegoo filament changing system. Still not really a lot of stuff out there. I think everyone's tapping the same resource.
Yeah, they've been able to keep that one under wraps too. I did see a rendered image of it. Whether it's true, accurate, I don't know. Supposedly it was like a leaked rendered image of it.
The only one I saw was the one where it's under a sheet.
Yeah. So someone else on a Facebook group posted like a rendered image of it, and I screenshotted it, and then I don't know what I did with it. I lost it. I deleted it or something. But again, I don't know if it was just like a fan art render or if it was legit Elegoo stuff. But
you had one job.
Yeah.
And it was to hold on to that screenshot.
I know one thing. Hold on to that screenshot, and I failed. Yeah. So so Elegoo, Cheaty Box, the VVD, and then the co-print is still out there. But to be honest, I know some people who have it, and they're like, yeah, it works, but then that's it. Like I haven't heard a whole lot of like.
Yeah, they struck a deal with Creality for like the older machines or something like that, but then I haven't heard anything else about it.
It seems to be one of the ones that just kind of like fizzled out. I haven't heard a lot of buzz around it, but I know a few people that have it, and it works, and it prints okay. The other one is the ADX, the FlashForge ADX5.
85X,
Your 85X, that one. So I guess that leads us into the other thing we wanted to talk about, and there are kind of three printers that we wanted to discuss. One being the Fusion 3, the F200, the other being the Wondermaker, the Wondermaker ZR. So they have the ZR and then the ZR Ultra. The ZR is this one here. It's kind of a
85X.
Why does it keep coming back? So this one here is kind of a 85X. Every time I click on the link, it takes me to the Ultra page, but it's kind of an 85X from FlashForge type of printer. And then you have the tool changer. There it is. And then you have the tool changer that is, what is that? One, two, three, four?
Five. It's 4 heads, right?
Yeah, 4 tool heads.
But why does that have an X? It says 4X tool heads. What does that mean?
Let me go to the actual page.
Why not just say 4?
I think it's just 4 times tool heads. 20. But yeah, it's just a 4 tool head. Again, I would prefer 5. I like 5. 5 is like the color.
Dude, it's the same thing with AMSs. Like,
yeah,
do 5. Like, 5 is like what you need.
5 is like always the like. There's so many shenanigans here.
Shenanigans.
5 is every time I design a model,
it's always 5.
I want to do 5, and I don't. I end up designing it in 4 because I know that the vast majority of people don't have 2 AMSs.
Dude, it is so irritating that all of these companies are coming out with. Do they understand? Like, if someone came out with a 5, just 5 rolls, AMS, people would go crazy.
So, dun, 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 dun. Everybody's probably seen this. Everybody, a lot of us have been familiar with ProForge back when they did the 4.2. Yep. So they have the ProForge 300, which is the 3 tool head, and then the 4.2, which is the 4 tool head. But they also have their ProForge 5 coming out, which is a 5 tool head, which is cool. The only issue with ProForge, I have had some experience with the ProForge 4.2. I do know somebody who owns one, and I have used it in person, and it's well built. It is a nice machine. Yep. Does print well, works well. It's 48 volt. It is all-wheel drive, so it has four motors for the gantry. It's a very nice printer. It is expensive. It's about $2,000, but for a 4 tool head tool changer, that's probably not too bad.
That's probably about right.
You're not like SV08 with like the Bondec index cost, but it's not out of reach for some people. But I'm guessing the ProForge 5 is going to be like more like Prusa XL price, maybe. Who knows? But
here's what we need. We need Bondex. Also, Bondex is at Murph as well.
Yeah,
we need them to drop that thing so that the market can adjust.
Yeah. So one I think somebody told me that one of the guys at Murph for Index said September-ish.
Sound good.
I don't know if anybody else at Murph heard him say that or asked and they said that, but that's the second time I've heard somebody say that they heard Bondtech say September-ish. So so Reprinted is saying October, November, they've been saying. So I know I've heard September twice, October, November. So I don't know, I guess anytime in that frame, it'd probably be smart to do it for like a pre-Christmas release, right? Like, because then once Christmas rolls around,
I mean, let's be clear. They're not going to have enough units, and that's fine. We know that's what's going to happen. It's going to sell out.
It's like hotcakes.
Yeah, it's gonna like I don't even have a machine to put it on, and I want to buy it just so that if I do get a machine to put it on, I'll have it already. But it's gonna sell
6 machines that I want to put it on.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And I'll probably have 1 or 2 more by the time it releases, but I have 6 machines that in theory I could put it on. I think I'm going to put it on my SVO. I'd like to put as many as I can on my SVO8, and then I'd also like to put 4 if I can fit it on my Infomec TX. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll be able to fit 4, but
I think it'll cause kind of like what Bamboo did, and then what everyone did in response to Bamboo is adjusted the market. Look at the Centauri, and look at all of the new printers that you can get for nowhere near the price of the equivalent Bamboo machine outside of the AMS, but still.
And I guess that kind of brings us back to this, right? Because this is the machine that a lot of people are talking about. It looks good, right? I think it looks like a Prusa Core 1.
Yeah, legit.
But it looks good. I'm sure it prints good. I've seen some prints that it looks like it prints well. Yeah. It's a nice looking machine. It's made in the US, which is kind of neat. But when I look down through it and I look at the specs and I look at about everything that's on this, for $3,200 to $3,300, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Then this marketing here,
that's
is
hilarious.
Complete BS.
Dude.
So I don't like this type of thing. Is that if you're coming out and you have a good machine, and it's already overpriced really for what it is, and I don't, and yes, you can say you and they can't say. I keep hearing people that say, "Oh, well, this is a commercial printer." Well, if it's a commercial printer, you're not going to say this.
Nah.
Right? They're obviously gearing it towards consumers as well.
Absolutely.
Maybe commercial as well. But at $3,300, there's not a single thing that this printer can do that I can't do on my Centauri Carbon for $300.
I mean, can your Centauri Carbon print 150 plus materials?
Yes.
And have endless possibilities?
Yeah. So
I don't think so.
If we look down through this, right? The only thing that this printer does that a lot of enclosed Core XY new gen machines that are coming out that can't is this, right? You got 140C on the bed. Not a lot of printers can do 140C.
Yeah.
But the issue with this is that it only does 320C on the tool head.
Yeah.
So any material that you need to print that requires 140C, you can't print because the tool head doesn't get hot enough.
Yeah.
So if you look at this, right, this is the certified list from them of material that this can print. There is not a single filament listed on this printer that you cannot print on $300 machines. My Infomet can print it.
Yeah.
My P1S can print it. My Centauri Carbon can print it. My K1 can print it.
Yeah.
There's nothing listed here that justifies a $3,300 price for a, and I say, consumer printer, right?
Dude, 100%.
It blows my mind. So I just don't know. Would I love to have one of these machines? Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it prints great. But for $3,300, I could buy a farm.
You could buy a farm for that much. You can buy a Prusa for almost that much. Like with 5 heads.
Like a little bit more, and I could get an XL.
Dude.
Or I could buy what? Almost 3 X1Cs, or
an XL that might be made might be put together in America.
Yeah. So I don't get it, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I've heard it being discussed in a lot of different 3D printing communities.
Yeah. And
I just don't understand. Now, I might someday get my hands on this machine, and I may say, "Holy crap, this thing's amazing, and it's worth $3,300." So I don't want to talk. I hate to talk this much about it because it may be worth it, but I just don't think it is.
I think for let's on the level that they are kind of like trying to punch at, and even like let's take out the consumer part. They're trying to punch at the production level. Most companies that probably are going like high-end production level are probably using like Prusas, like government and stuff like that, are probably using Prusas. And if you would have to compare this to the Core 1, and you can still buy 3 of those for this price. Right?
Because if you look down through this, like a 5015 blower, great. Yeah. Every printer has that or has something equivalent to that. Yeah. Dual side cooling, again, kind of standard now. 100% tool head cooling. I don't even know what the hell that means.
I don't even know what that means. Isn't that like every printer right now? So
hardened extruder gears, great. Dual-sided feed gears, again, nothing. Short filament path, 52 millimeters. That's not short. It's not any shorter than 35 other tool head designs out there.
It does have a Wham Bam PEI.
So that we talked about this before stream. The one thing that I was like, holy crap, it's awesome that it comes with it, is a Wham Bam plate, because I love Wham Bam's plates. Both for the resin, I used to use their they're flexible resin plates. But I mean, that's what I see. But and then not only are they, but they're visibly, like, even in their marketing, like there's one here, like they're clearly like they're pretty targeted with what they're saying, and they're clearly going at
it's at the bottom. Go to the bottom.
Yeah. Is it at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So bamboo versus fusion, right? So they're also comparing their materials. But there's down. Something in here where it says
one more, a little bit more. Yeah, that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're clearly going after bamboo and a pretty targeted marketing towards them. So again, I would get that if you were comparable in price per performance. But this is no better than an X1C.
I think honestly, like if they would have had like a more realistic price, and this could be realistic to what they're paying for parts.
Yeah.
But I think and maybe they aren't, even though they say consumer, maybe they're not talking to like us per se.
No, I mean they're
obviously talking to the government. Right?
Yeah, or they're talking to the 1% of the consumers as far as, because I have a lot of printers. I've had 60 plus printers, but I don't regularly go out and buy a $3,000 machine, right? No. Like I'll source the parts and build a printer that costs that much over time, but I'm not going out and buying. I don't own a Prusa XL, right? Because I can build something that does the same thing for a lot less. But in this case, I don't even have to build anything. I can just buy. There's like probably 10 other printers out there that can do what this can do for a whole lot less. So and then like this here, unlike our competitors, we provide the output tolerance information. Almost all manufacturers now say 1 to 0.3 millimeters. So just because you're saying 0.26, again, not proven because I haven't tested it, but that's not a part tolerance that's out of the realm of possibility for any other new gen quality machine, right? Like my X1C is going to get that part tolerance.
And we're not trying to tear this company apart.
No, we're definitely
we don't
not.
Even have that kind of pull.
We definitely do not.
But I would love to see a more realistic price as well as less I'll say like mud raking type of stuff. I think if you got a great machine, it'll sell itself, and if you got a great price, it'll sell itself as well. Look, the Centauri is a perfect example. And I'm not saying they got to make this a $300 machine. If it was a $600 or $700 machine, I think people would be willing to take a chance on it.
I even think this might be fine in the $1,300 range.
It depends on to me, it would depend on the upgrading path, like what's coming down the line.
Yeah, but I think even at the $1,300 range, the people that like that it's domestically assembled,
or whatever,
legit. And depending on how the firmware is set up and how the slicing software and the ecosystem, how all that is, I think if this is built the way that it appears to be built, and from the stuff I've seen on it, it seems like a really quality machine. I think if it's at the $1,300 to $1,500 range, I think that's more doable. But at over double that, I just don't get it. I have voiced similar things with Lulzbot machines over the years, but Lulzbot don't say consumer pretty much anywhere, right? Like they're commercial based, they go after commercial people, so they're a little bit more expensive. But I don't know, I don't understand like all of this stuff, and I know you got to market it, right? But I don't get it. And I like I said, if I had this in front of me, maybe it would change my mind. So Fusion 3, if you want to send Steve and I an F200, to change our mind, feel free. But
I don't want
no,
it. You send it to Corey.
Yeah, like I said, because I'm open to any machine proving its worth or proving its cost. I just, based off what I see, and with from my experience in 3D printing, I just don't understand the cost per what it is and the performance. So
I think I lean more towards the like traditional consumer printers.
Yeah, like I do too.
Yeah, I just couldn't see me even testing one that costs that much outside of like the H2D, which I feel like they've already vetted themselves with at least 4 to 5 other printers. So, and that's my thing with this is that they're like you're like new, and I don't think it's been vetted enough for you to just like, we're gonna jump in here and we're props to you guys for feeling that confident.
I mean, like I said, maybe they're that confident because they have really built that good of a machine. But I just, at some point, I just don't think that this specific machine, based off its specs and its size and its capabilities, could in any way justify $3,200 to $3,300. I don't care how good it prints, it's just not gonna justify that cost for me, and I don't think it will for a lot of people. Now they have other printers, right, like this thing, and again, buy or request a quote. I've heard rumblings that this is like multi-thousands and thousands of dollars, but this clearly, if you look down through the specs, it seems more like a commercial machine, but the F200 definitely does not. It just seems like more of a Prusa Core 1 that just happens to be 3 times the price. So they keep trying to, like, all day long when I would look at this, the thing would pop up and it would say, you got any questions? You want to chat? And I so wanted to ask so many questions, but I didn't. But yeah, I'm excited. And again, I am excited about this. I wish them well. I hope that this sells a lot and that they do really well. And I hope that it's worth, I hope that whoever buys this printer feels that they got the value that they were looking for what they paid. I just won't be buying.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, I'm just, there's a lot of, I think for a lot of us, there's a lot of stuff coming out, obviously, to look forward to. I am somewhat excited about this. I am a little bit I'm always leery and hesitant about Kickstarters because I've done some Kickstarters in the past, and they've bit me. So I tend to only back a Kickstarter if it's money that I would just be fine with losing, which is whatever. It's the cliche everybody says about Kickstarter. But I like the tool head. We all ask. So I have heard a lot of like negative comments about this, about it being a Kickstarter, and that a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, they're not showing any videos of it actually working, of an actual printer, of it actually printing. And I'm okay with that as it stands now, because we have all been asking for low expensive tool changers.
Well, and they're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. No. It's just they're trying to make an inexpensive tool changer is the assumption.
And I think I know I've asked for it, and I think I asked for it on the Meet the Polymaker thing. Like, one of my things that Joel asked me about was, what do you want to see? And I wanted to see sub $1,000 tool changers, 4 and 5 tool head. And I think whoever this is, I don't know a whole lot about them, but they're clearly trying to bring that.
I can't remember what their OG name was, but it's a different name, but they're doing this under Wonder Maker now. Yeah.
And I remember seeing another name about it, but and I just I hope it's successful, because I think we need more tool changers that are affordable for your average 3D printer. Like, you got the ProForge 5, again, this is not going to be the Wonder Maker, right? This is not going to be a printer that probably even 60% of the community is going to be able to afford. This is probably going to be a top 10, top 20% of people that could actually afford this. But again, it's a tool changer. Good to see it. But I want to see, out of all two of these out of these three machines that we've talked about, this is the one that I'm actually the most excited about.
Yeah, legit, dude.
Because it's a printer that I would buy, or it's a printer that I could like talk to someone and say, hey, if it's good, this might be one that you might want to look at. So, yes, I mean, it says $549 for early birds, so I'm guessing it'll probably end around like the $799 mark or something afterwards. But
that's still completely reasonable,
right?
For 5 heads.
Yeah, I think for is it 4? Yeah, 4. So 4 heads.
Is it 4 or is it? Oh yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4 tool heads. Yeah, but for 4 tool heads, I think that's a good price. I would pay that.
Yeah.
All right, I rambled on and on, but
no. Speaking of things that we haven't seen any proof of yet, the Loop, the filament recycling system.
Oh yeah.
It's been like a year now.
The first person I saw post about that was Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
So I had seen some big marketing stuff about it, but the first person that I actually saw that talked about it was his post.
Yep.
I think he did a TikTok video of like, is this thing real?
Yeah.
And did he end up getting one?
I don't think anyone ended up getting any yet, because I don't think it's even. What? Hold on. Wait. Sorry. Pete said he got an update from them this week, but I don't think no one's seen them. Like, I'm not doubting that it. Like, I'm on the optimistic side of like, hey, maybe they are doing something that no one else was able to do. I just need to see the proof. And so if they can like just show us it works, I think they have the community behind them. And like, I hope that it works.
I think it would be great because, like, I have experience with the ArtMe 3D, and that will make filament, but it's not user friendly. Like, it's not an easy thing to get set up and working right. So if that works how they said it was, and they did do a stream, I think it was a TikTok video or something where they showed it, and it was like they ran through it.
Did they actually show it working? Because I remember they were supposed to do one and it got delayed.
So it didn't. It just showed the machine. They actually didn't run it, but it showed the machine because, and it was. I think it was a direct response to Uncle Jesse's video about is this thing real? Because at that point, people had only seen renders of it.
Yeah.
And they had showed it, and it was a legit machine. And I signed up for the like notify me of your updates and stuff. And I get them. I don't ever look at them. I probably should. But it is interesting. It would be cool. I think that's one of those things like the Filabot, right? Is that other $20,000 filament maker. And it would be cool to be able to, for the everyday person, for not $20,000, to be able to grind up make filament either from fresh pellets or from recycled stuff, and to be able to you okay? Are you muted? Oh, so yeah, I think it would be cool to be able to make filament. I mean, how many of you guys in chat would, if you could get a filament maker for a reasonable price, would you recycle your own prints and failures and poop and all that, or use fresh pellets, and would you make your own filament? Like, because I think I've talked to some people and they're like, no, I wouldn't even bother. Why would I? I'm just going to buy a $12 spool of PLA. So I think some people are like, why would I even bother? It's a lot of work when I can buy filament for so inexpensive. So I think it's kind of a hobbyist niche.
Yeah, it like like I already recycled my filament, not back into filament, but into plates. I like, for me, the first thing I saw was the blender. I'm like, let me just get the blender.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be happy with that, you know. So like I think it's the what's the word I'm looking for? It is the white whale of 3D printing. You know, it's like, it's the Moby Dick. It's like the thing that, you know, people want but never got, you know.
Yeah.
So if we could get it, everyone would be super excited about it. But I think people have been let down by machines so much in the past that we're like, okay, it's not gonna work, you know. And
it's just a tough thing. Like, a lot of people have made filament, but it's not an easy thing to do, to make it good and to make it a consistent diameter, and to make it easily printable. Like, probably the best thing that's out there for that is not even using pellets or recycled filament. It's using bottles, and that's the Recreator 3D. Like, that works, and you can create pet filament out of bottles with a Recreator 3D for pennies and print with it, and it prints fine. So it's just, I think you're right. The white whale is a good way of putting it, is that I don't know. I'm a tinkerer. I'm a 3D printer and a tinkerer. So in Polymorph says it, sometimes you don't need one more thing to research or learn. And he's not wrong, right? Like, the tinkerer and 3D printer in me, I know that I have enough projects, right? So do I need something else to try to work with and learn? Probably not. Now, the ADHD person in me says, heck yeah, give it to me, right? I want to learn it. I want to do it. But I probably don't really need it. And I'm not sure if I did have a loop, and even if it worked well, I'm not sure if I would even, I'm not sure if I would use it regularly, right? Like, because if it's between doing all the work and producing a single spool of filament, or buying a roll of filament for $19.99, my time is worth more than that. So I'll probably just buy the filament. It's, you know, it's kind of like, it's like, I was a car guy growing up, loved cars. Got to a point where I stopped working on my own cars because my time, my free time, was worth more than the money I saved bringing my car to a mechanic. And I look at this kind of similar, is that the time I'm going to spend in the space that I'm going to give up, because that loop is going to take the space of a printer, that I don't know if that value to me, spending the time making my own filament, would ever be worth it. Yeah.
Like, if you got a farm, it's probably makes sense to have one of these.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can use a bunch of your recycled or fails, and, you know, maybe, you know, out of like 30 machines, maybe make a couple rolls to save money. Yeah. But it's going to depend on how much that machine costs.
And I have a farm level amount of machines, right? They're not all the same one, but I have a farm level amount of machines, of printers.
Yep.
And I print a ton of prototype parts, and I print a ton of stuff. So being able to create my own filament, it might save me money, but it's going to take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Which the time is more valuable to me than the money, for the most part.
I think because, like, they had a cool thing going, and it looked legit. They had people, and it looked like, you know, they knew what they were talking about, but now they're taking too long.
Yeah.
I think, like, if you say you had a machine that works, like, it's been almost at least a year, if not more. Like, if you really want to push this thing on to people, you got to show and prove.
Yeah, because at this point, everybody doubted it in general.
Yeah.
And at this point, you've taken so long. It's kind of like the
you're like, nah.
What was it? The Frozen Arco, right? Like the Frozen Arco, that their printer and multicolor. Now, if you back that in Kickstarter, they're just now starting to send the Arco out, but it doesn't have
I didn't even know.
It doesn't have the multi-material with it. That's coming later. So, but I wanted to back that, and I almost did.
Nah.
But at this point, even if it's good, in the frozen resin machines are great, right? And they have a very strong like dental presence in their dental resin machines. And they're a good company, but it doesn't mean that you have to do everything in 3D printing. And my consumer confidence in the Arco and its ability to run with their multicolor is seriously challenged with the time. The same thing with the Anchor Make, right? The color engine.
Yeah.
They were going to do the 6 filament color engine, and everybody was super psyched about that. The M5 was great. M5, 5M, M5. I can't even remember. 5MC. I had the one without the screen, which was the C. But then they basically just shelved it after they couldn't get it to work.
I give them props for shelving it though. Like,
they could have released it.
Yeah, they could have dragged people along. And then we'd eventually been sitting here talking about how trashy it was, but they pulled the trigger and said, "All right, we're just not going to be able to do this." And stop making printers altogether, right?
Yeah. So Chase Money, they're kind of the opposite of me, right? So they're saying for sustainability and making your own filament, he saves all his leftovers, supports and all. And the time for him would be acceptable as long as the initial investment of the loop isn't too much money. And it would make sense to like pay the machine off over time. And I think a lot of people are probably going to feel that way. Is that if it works as good as they say it's going to work, and you're just able to just pump spool after spool, like if the thing could do 2 spools a day, then maybe it'd be worth it, right?
Yeah.
But if it could only do 1 spool a week.
So I don't think anybody's trying to sell the filament that they make from.
It's just going to be probably your own use.
Like for me, it would be, if I were to use it, it'd be like, okay, I hate this roll of filament and I hate this roll of filament. Let's throw it in there and make another roll of trash filament.
One homogeneous roll of filament.
One homogeneous roll of filament. Yeah.
You get 2 separate 1 kilograms into 1. Yeah. And I think in those cases, it has its use. I guess a lot of it comes about as how much that costs, right? And I haven't seen a price on it. Have you or Pete, anybody in the comments seen a price? I haven't seen anything about the first thing that popped up in Google when I typed in loop, it auto-filled to loop filament recycler cost.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Reddit posts that are saying in the $2,000 range. I'm seeing 15 to 2,500, 2,000 Canadian. So, I mean, again, who knows? These are just Reddit, but the loop is priced at $24.99, according to voxelmatters.com.
Dude, I remember I wish I would have bookmarked it, but I did like a search on YouTube and found another machine very similar to the loop from like 7 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if it at all is related to this machine. And I've not been able to find it again since then.
So this is voxelmatters.com, and this is May 2025. So, I mean, it's not too old.
Yeah.
And somewhere in here, it's going to say, so the loop is priced at $24.99. Again, I don't know if this guy who wrote this article, David Shear, has inside knowledge and if that's accurate or not. But, I mean, for me, I'm not going to pay $2,400, $2,500 for that.
No, because I mean,
it's just not. It's going to take me years to pay that off because I know that I'm going to produce a roll of filament and then I'm going to shelve the thing for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and then I might dig it out again.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Chase Money says, it renders, right? So a lot of them appeared to be renders, but we did see a video. I did see a video where they physically had the machine, and it looked different than this. If I remember right, it was all black or like all one darker color. It wasn't silver, so it was clearly just a prototype or something. But it looked different it looked the same but different, just color wise.
Mm-hmm.
But and again, the video they didn't do. Oh yeah, Philibot. But I mean, for me, $2,500 is too much for it. But
not for what would be the equivalent of a $19 roll.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to buy a lot of filament for that. I just don't. For me, I don't see it. But for me, it would just be about like just having it and saying that I've done it.
Well, you also need
the experience.
You need the real material as well. So not only is it just your scraps, you also need the raw material.
Well, and that's another thing is that I'm not really good at. I print a lot of different material, right? I print PLA, PETG, PCTG, polycarbonate, nylon. I print the gamut of the technical filaments, and I am not good at separating at all.
Yeah,
and I would never be good at that because space is a premium for me. And until I build my new shop, I don't have the space to separate all that out.
That was one of the things for me. Was like I was like with the poop plates.
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't mind like just if someone wanted to get rid of their old filament, I'll take it, and then use that to make some more plates, or just to have a little bit more supply. But then I'm like, people don't always separate their stuff, so I didn't want to run into that situation where, I'm like, hey, okay, you didn't separate everything, and now I have, PET G mixed in with PLA, which to its defense, you get it hot enough, they will stick together. I've done it already.
But like if you start mixing like PETG and PLA together, like you're gonna have a real bad time trying to make filament with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
Yeah, and that would be me, right? Like I would try even my best effort to keep all of my recycled prototype parts, my poop, my brims, my purge towers, all that stuff. I would make my best effort of keeping that separate.
Yep.
But I wouldn't. I would end up running. I would end up running into an issue.
Yeah.
And I would be like, "Why is this filament coming out like crap?" And that would be it. I would have inadvertently put PETG in my PLA bin, or vice versa.
Or you would invent a new filament. Boom, got them.
yeah. I'd invent the next HTPLA.
Or big filament will be knocking at your door like, we need you to stop right now.
We need you to stop making that. Yeah.
We need you
to either that or I'd like fume myself to death and be dead in my shop because I
do one of those plates. When I was making those plates, I almost passed out. Now I say that I didn't almost pass out, but it was like, woo! I stood on top of the machine, and
can I imagine it was. I mean, once you heat it like that, it's gonna put. Even just heating it, a 1.75 millimeter in a nozzle. That'll off gas and smoke, and especially if you're printing stuff at like 270 plus. But so I wanted to say a shout out to Bear 3D Tech. I see that he's here. Awesome guy. I follow him on X.
Yeah, Cyber Jules dropped in a little while ago. Hey, Cyber Jules, welcome.
Good people. Lots of good people.
Yeah, it's what is it? We've rambled on for what?
We're 15 minutes over time.
We are. Why didn't you guys stop us?
I just really quickly want to reiterate is that my pointing out Fusion 3's F200 as I don't get the price for the value or what you're getting in the printer. Please don't mean that I'm being negative about that printer, because I'm not. I hate it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I want it to succeed. I hope that whoever buys it, it's worth the price that they pay for it. So I am just saying that, in my opinion, I just don't get it. I don't get the price, for for what it is. So I just wanted to cover that because I did hammer it pretty hard.
You did, man. I was like, wow, he's really going in on this. I was like, geez, man, what did they ever do to you?
Just some things fire me up, and it's not in a negative way. I'm not upset with them. I'm not irritated. It just some things fire me up when I feel like people, consumers, and friends of mine in the 3D printing community are going to be overpaying for a machine thing. And again, if you buy it, it's none of my business. If you think it's worth the price, that's wonderful. I hope it's a great machine. What I would be upset with is if a lot of people buy this machine and then in a year from now they just fold up, or disappear, or the machine isn't as good as people are saying it is. So again, I hope they're fine.
Here's something that would probably make it, but I think they would have said this on the page if that was the case. If they were like, "Hey, it's completely open source. It's Clipper. It's native Clipper. We're not bastardizing it or anything. Like, and you can use a box turtle on it or something like that. Which I feel like, even though box turtles are cool, it would take away from the professional side of it. But I think the industry needs a completely open printer. Like, here are the parts. They're all together. They will work. You just need to load.
So Clipper. I do know that they're Slicer. They call it like F3 S3 or something. Yeah. It is free and open source. I believe I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably based on like Prusa Slicer or
probably
Slick 3R. It is. It's looks like it's based off Slick 3R.
Okay.
So yeah, which again is Prusa Slicer basically, or Prusa Slicer is based off Slick 3R. Yeah. So I mean that's cool that is, but I don't know what the firmware is based off what I've seen on the screen. Didn't look like Clipper. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's homegrown or some version of Clipper or Marlin. I have no idea. But if anybody else knows that, tag me in it. I'd like to know. Interested. But again, hope they're successful. If you buy it, great. I hope you love it. Show me prints and videos of it. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yep.
So we are out of time. Thanks for joining us. MRRF, Cheaty Box, Multicolor, Tool Changers, awesome printers. There's so much more coming out. If there is something that we are not aware of, Steve or I is not aware of, that is coming out that you have seen, that you would want our crazy opinions on, if that's valuable for you guys, or you just want to hear us talk about it, or you guys want to chat about it, join our Discord or on X or Instagram. Tag us in a comment, let us know what it is, and we will take a look at it, and then maybe talk about it on the next stream. I'm all about finding out about new things that I'm not aware of. So even if it's not 3D printing related, right? Like it could be like a new laser printer, or a new 3D scanner that's out, or anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Software related stuff. Let us know. And
Maker Faire season is kind of coming up.
Yep.
So check your local Maker Faire site or whatever and see if Maker Faire is coming up. Go out there, meet some new people.
Cosplaying. In August is the Boston the Expo Comic-Con thing. This is the one I've been to. It's pretty cool. Not going this year, but
get active, stay active, join the community, have some fun, all of that good stuff. So join our Discord. I dropped the chat. I'm gonna drop the link there. And I guess we need to pick a target. 3D Printopia, September 27th through the 28th. I will be there. Moji will be there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a table, like a Moji 3D table and an Unspooled table. I hope. So Steve's going to be volunteering, I think. Yeah. I'm going to be volunteering.
Yeah, I'll be volunteering in some capacity. I don't know if I'll be MC.
If he's going to be MC, he probably wouldn't be at the
we might be able to do some
Moji / Unspooled / Layer by Layer. We might be able
to, who knows? Maybe we can get a table near the booth or something.
Yeah, so, but we'll figure it out. We'll be there. So.
But start making your plans if you're coming. Yeah. If you're planning on coming, start making your plans.
Book your hotels early.
Book your hotels,
really,
because they do fill up.
Yeah, and check on that booking regularly, especially if you're at certain hotels.
Yeah,
check.
Yeah,
even a day before, check.
Yeah.
So, we should probably raid.
Yeah.
To
Jano's on. We rated Jano before.
I think he's the only one on, isn't he?
Is he? Hold on. Barello's always on.
Yeah, we can't raid into Maker Deck though. I guess we could.
No, I'm talking about regular Barello.
Oh, is he on?
Yeah.
Oh,
but he's doing vibe coding a vintage retro Commodore thing. Let's see.
All right, let's.
Jano might be it, man.
Yeah, let's.
He's gonna get tired of us after a while. Like,
look, he's a good guy though. I can't. I have actually never met him in person.
Oh no. Fedor's on. Let's raid Fedor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's raid Fedor.
I didn't even know he.
Yeah, he does Twitch now.
I didn't even know that. I love.
He's been doing it for about a month.
I'm guessing he's still 3D Print SOS. I gotta follow him. I'm not following him on. Another awesome guy.
Yeah. Also from Maryland. Boom, got him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a fellow crabber.
A fellow crab. I guess if that's what people outside of Maryland call us.
I found out that crabs were a thing when I went to 3D Printopia.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna rate.
Yeah.
All right, thank y'all for coming out, hanging out with us. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Go do something awesome, and we'll see you guys next week. Cool.